Hi, this is Kim Brenneman, and I'm here talking about Home Plain and Simple again and doing life at home. My family has done that for a lot of years, and when this sheltering in place thing started happening, I decided, hey, it's a good time to start talking about this kind of thing and putting out some information for people who aren't accustomed to doing life at home. So that's why we started doing these videos. We meaning me and my girls. Sometimes they join me, especially Annie. Today she's making fence, and I was doing all kinds of things. The most recently, the last few hours, I was outside doing work. So I feel a little wind blown and dirty. The dust was blowing. Today I am going to talk about the one of the appendices, Appendix A in my book, the one about coping while exhausted and overwhelmed. Now, I kind of think the whole world is feeling a little overwhelmed right now with, let's just say, what is going on. Just that. We don't know. We don't know what to believe, what's true, what's not. I think it depends on where you're at and who you're rubbing shoulders with and what is showing up in your news feed and what you're reading. But anyway, let's stop talking about that, because what are we going to do about those feelings, and what are we going to do about life being overwhelming? Regardless, the reason I wrote this was because I certainly had times in life when I felt overwhelmed simply from the day-to-day of being at home with kids, being tired, being pregnant, being sick, being busy, just busy all day long, not getting enough sleep, that kind of thing. So that's why I wrote this book. And honestly, this chapter is pertinent to any time in life when you're feeling overwhelmed. I did have the thought today when I was out gardening that I should read this aloud sometime and just make an audio of it and put it on the website or on Teachable. We are creating a course for Teachable actually there's one that's pretty well loaded that's about time management for moms. And then I'm going to do this master class with the workbook that accompanies this, which is not published yet, but we're going to start a master class not next week, but the week after. So I know I said the first week of May. This is May. I can't even believe it. So anyway, it's going to be the week after. If you're interested, send me your email. I'm limiting it to 12 people. We're going to spend 13 weeks going through the book. Sometimes some of it's big chunks, some of it we're not going to cover at all. And there's lots of discussion questions and tasks, or like workbook type things where you fill out and you make a plan and then you do the plan. And it's about accountability too. So that is going to start the second week in May. If you want to be involved, if you want some accountability, if you just need a fresh start, if you want to get life at home in order before the next school year, this is a good time to do it over the summer. Just step by step, 1 week at a time. All right, so this one, coping while exhausted and overwhelmed, I already covered that. Why it happens, and it can happen any time in life for any reason. Sometimes it's hormones or just chemical imbalance in your body. You're not eating right. You're not drinking enough water. You're not getting out in the sunshine and getting vitamin D. Maybe you need to just have some alone time. Maybe you're an introvert and you're not getting enough or any alone time where you can just breathe. Maybe you're an extrovert and you thrive on getting out and seeing your friends and doing things that is outside the home, and you're home all the time and you feel not right, not in balance, and it's because of that. We're all different, so there's different reasons for having that feeling of being overwhelmed. So those are the first things I want to talk about, is making sure those are in line, that you know who you are, know what your needs are, and that takes a little bit of thought. And so make that number one, maybe, to figure out, what do I need? And sometimes you need to read some articles on personality types, or introvert versus extrovert, or that kind of thing, to try to understand who you are. That can be the first step. And another really important one, which I just touched a little bit on, is eating right. Eating the rainbow, getting all the minerals and vitamins that you need in your food as much as you can. I mean, supplements help. That's huge. But it can't cover it as well, as it's not as digestible, it's not as absorbable as it is in food. So get good food in your body. And that might take a little bit of research or in learning. Follow some cooking blogs or some health and nutrition Instagrammers or YouTubers or whatever on. It doesn't really matter if it's what there's so many trends. Just choose one that has a lot of fruits and vegetables in it, and then learn how to make fruits and vegetables in different ways. And I know there's this, I don't even want to talk about food right now. We live in Iowa, where there's all kinds of we're on ground zero with food, so we can see what's coming down the line. And anyway, grow your own food. Start there. What does your family like to eat? Grow it. Anyway, and that gets you outside, and that gets you in the dirt. And maybe you don't like dirt, but dirt is, I think dirt's good for you. And I think it's fun to grow stuff. And yeah, whole food is so beneficial. I just think there's something about being out there and getting in the sunshine and the wind and the fresh air and yes, Ellie, you eat dirt, I know. and enjoying that time out there, listening to the birds, seeing that there's a bigger world than what is in the house. I mean, sometimes we're so busy with the stuff that is necessary to do in the house that we don't get outside, and then that contributes to our feeling trapped and overwhelmed. So it's really important, I think, to get out and just go for a walk. Just do that. Go for a walk every day. Exercise and food have been shown in studies to be just as effective as taking an antidepressant. So keep that in mind. Fix yourself naturally as much as you can, and then when that doesn't work, then go to the next level. If you need help, though, if you're in a really bad place and you're having thoughts that aren't helpful for you and your family, you need to contact a provider and ask for help. There is no shame in that. There are things they can do, ideas and medications that can put you into balance. I mean, maybe it's hormones. Maybe you just need an antidepressant or anti-anxiety med for a short time. Maybe it's a long time. That's okay. It's better to be safe and feel good and to be helpful to your family than contribute to your family's sense of things aren't right in the world because mom's not right. Okay, that's not a good place. I'm sure you've heard the saying, if mom ain't happy, no one's happy. Well, that's a funny thing on the day-to-day, life thing. But if that is your children's normal all the time, and that is their normal, they don't know that there's another normal, that's not good for them to grow up in an atmosphere where mom is depressed or anxious or living in fear or having panic attacks, that kind of thing. That's not healthy for them to grow up in. So fix yourself. strong words. Pull up your bootstraps. Do something about yourself, because you are the mom. The mom. I'm speaking to moms, I assume, except for Ellie, who is 14 and she eats dirt. Simplify your life and streamline it. Okay, so that is huge. When you're overwhelmed with little children, place some limits on your living areas. I've talked about this in videos before, where you're like child-proofing your house by making it smaller and keeping your children with you. I know that kind of runs counter to, oh, I'm drowning in children. But if your children are out of control and are disobedient and are running around like crazy hoodlums, they need more time and more structure. So consider that as a way of structuring by limiting their access to rooms, their access to cupboards, and structuring their time and your time during the day so that they understand that you're in charge and that there's parameters, and that safety, those parameters, those fences you're making build security in them, and they also understand limits. I know there was a trend recently, say yes to your kids. We say no all the time. Say yes to your kids and say no, only when you have to. Well, it's a pendulum. I mean, you can say yes all the time to your kids, and then they're running the show. And if you say no to your kids all the time, then they're living this squelched little life. There's a balance. I mean, you have to do some thinking about what you're saying yes to and what you're saying no to. But when you have a lot of little children, that can be pretty destructive in your house and make your life disruptive. Placing limits and then keeping them close and giving them structure, excuse me, coronavirus, giving them structure, some good girl moonshine, giving them some guidance helps them understand how life is in your house, what your lifestyle is, what the atmosphere of your home is, and that helps with ultimately you not feeling so overwhelmed because your children are being a little bit more helpful in their life with you. Okay, so then laundry. Oh yeah, we've talked about this before too on laundry day. If it's not dirty, don't wash it. And then making the laundry doable, giving yourself some rules for laundry. I kind of think this is helpful. Rules for laundry and rules for dishes help when you're feeling overwhelmed. In those overwhelmed days, I talked before about how I had a rule many years ago: 4 loads by 10, 4 loads by 4. Maybe in your life it's 1 load every day, and I put it in at breakfast and I change it at lunch and we fold it at 4 o'clock. Whatever fits your life, your unique situation with your children, your family, your lifestyle. Give yourself some guidelines to follow, a checklist where you say, I put it in the washer, check. I put it in the dryer, check. That kind of thing. Making yourself some laundry rules and then doing it. The other one, the dishes rule that I love, that I learned many, many, many years ago from a friend, was if there's not 10 dishes, then I don't have to wash dishes. She didn't have a dishwasher at the time, and I didn't either. This is when we were really young. I need to see what time it is so I don't talk too long. I think I did. So this might be in 2 videos. Giving yourself some rules for dishes. So if there's not 10 dishes to wash in your sink and on your counter, then you don't have to wash dishes. If there's 10 or more, you have to wash dishes. Nice rule for when you're feeling overwhelmed. And you can, make yourself these little, they're like mind tricks that help you get things done every day and things don't pile up. Okay, children, and including them in your work. If you feel like it's your job to entertain them all the time and they expect you to entertain them all the time, you're going to feel overwhelmed and they're going to be running over you. You have to set limits with your time. I'm not saying don't play with your children. Please, please, please play with your children. But make it a certain time of day. Make it a certain, I don't know, like a reward kind of, where first we're going to do some work, because we've always done this at our house. First we work, then we play. So we will do a work. We are all folding the laundry, and then we're going to do something fun. We're going to clean the kitchen. Everyone's going to help, and then we're going to play. And if your children are expected to do those things, and they expect that this certain time of day, this is what we're all doing, they just do it. It's not like you have to get out a whip or anything. I would never suggest that you get out a whip. No. But you understand what I'm saying. We work first, then we play, and this is the routine of our day. Now, if your children aren't used to that lifestyle, you're going to have to start with baby steps and add things on. After breakfast, children, today we are going to do this thing. And then after that thing, then we're going to do this. And sometimes children, it is like herding cats. Have you ever heard that term? Herding cats. Little children can be like that. Another trick to help children learn to obey is to play Mother May I or Simon Says. Just play those with them every day, and it's fun. But then also, they're learning to listen to your voice in these games. If you're the person that's calling, the rules, the what to do. And then they also, that skill, that little rut that happens in their brain transfers over into other areas of life. So if you're teaching them, these things through games, then they also will be doing them when you call them and say, okay, children, time to do this. And maybe someone says, starts whining, or they start, but I'm doing this. And I'll give you, 2 minutes or whatever to finish what they're doing. Maybe they're really engrossed in their play and you don't want to disturb them. But you can say, okay, 2 minutes, and then you're going to do this with us. And I expect you to say, yes, Mom. And then they say, yes, Mom. And if they don't say, yes, Mom, then you need to have some consequences. Whatever works in your house. Maybe they don't get to do the fun thing. Maybe they have to, do the work all alone, or maybe they, whatever works for the kid. I think consequences have to be so tailored to the child, and you understand your children best. So that takes some thought. I think you can't just, spanking is the easy way out. I'll just say that. It's the easy way out. It is not getting to the heart or the mind, the spirit of that child in front of you. You have to understand that child in front of you and speak that child's love language to them, and learn what consequences are effective for that child. Okay. All right, so this is a chapter, or the appendix, I think, that talks about the 15-minute work periods, where you spend 15 minutes working and then 15 minutes resting. That is really effective for a mom who has been up all night, someone who's pregnant, someone who has morning sickness, that kind of situation. If there's a new baby, 15 minutes of work and then 15 minutes of rest, and keep your children close for those times. Otherwise, they're running all over the place, doing all kinds of crazy stuff. Hopefully not, but sometimes that happens. But if you place limits in your house, keep them close, keep them working with you in those 15-minute work periods, and then a 15-minute rest period, and they can play, you can read a story, and then the timer goes again. Maybe it's not 15 minutes, maybe it's 30 minutes, maybe it's an hour, whatever works for your situation. But working in those rotations helps you not to just lay on the couch all day and nothing happens. And it also helps the children to understand those structured time periods in the day of, we are doing this now and everybody is going to do this. Once you have older children, they are really helpful, and buddy them up together. That's really the most helpful advice, I think. All right, so I'm going to stop for today because that was a lot. And tomorrow I'll do Appendix B. Thanks for joining me.